What's up, guys? Let's talk about PSA. Normally I don't do videos like this because I just want to stay positive, but I'm in this hobby to enjoy this hobby, and PSA is just, they're causing a lot of people to not enjoy the hobby. And the more I see out there and the more that comes out, it's just upsetting because we really should be able to enjoy this hobby. This hobby should be at least fairly consistent. I've been around a long time. I've been grading since nearly the beginning. I know what grades cards should be. And now we have the minimum size requirement thing that is just ridiculous. And they even know in a lot of cases that it's not trimmed, but they still won't grade it. All this authentic stuff. They're calling cards trimmed that were hand cut. I mean, there is stuff that's just insane. Their grading standards are way off of what they should be and what they historically were. You can't even get a 10 in a 90s card now. And then they damage cards. And, I used to think people that would post stuff like that don't know what they're doing. They just sent in cards that were damaged and, didn't realize it, didn't see it. And I'm sure there is some of that. I am absolutely sure. But that was not the case with me. I know what I'm doing, and I know how grading works, and I know what grades they should be. And I don't send in cards with damage, and we'll have some examples here. We'll have some examples of the minimum size thing that aren't even a different size than the other cards that I sent. And there are undergraded cards galore. I'm not even going to show all of them. But these are the reasons why I don't submit anymore. It's just not worth it. The cost is too high. I mean, $20, $25 every single time you send a card. Everything I'm going to show you is from the last couple submissions I did, probably a couple years ago, whenever it was. This isn't like, thousands of cards being sent over, the 20-something years I have been grading. Even more than that now. No, this is just out of the last couple submissions, and it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Because what I would do is I would send off a bunch of cards. Now, the big one that I sent off was 100 cards, so you're talking about a couple grand in grading fees. And what I would do in the past would be to send off a bunch of cards that would have some value. I'd send off a bunch of cards that I wanted for my PC, and I would just sell the ones that had some value, make a little bit, and still keep all the ones I wanted. That's the way it should work. That's how I would do it. And that one that was a really expensive submission, I got one card that hit what I thought, and there was just stacks of 8s and things that just didn't make sense. I had cards that were in sleeves straight out of the pack from 25 years ago, perfectly kept all this time, only to send them off and get literally 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s. And I've gotten rid of some of those. I'm not going to make a eternally long video that shows everything, but just suffice it to say, my goodness, it was so disappointing. Then the minimum size thing, and it just took some of the fun out of the hobby, so I stopped submitting. I want this hobby to be fun. I've said it over and over again. It is a great hobby. It's a great escape. It's great fun, but grading right now is a mess, and I just can't stay silent anymore because there's too many people getting hurt by it out there. There's just too many people getting hurt. So we'll start with just talking about the grades that are just way undergraded compared to what they were. I used to be able to nail what grades were going to be. Like this Jeff Bagwell Rookie Sensation. This thing's dead centered. It's clean. It has a tiny tipped white corner. Has a little bit of the normal chipping on the edge. This would be an 8 all day, every day, maybe even better. They give it a 6. And there were stacks of these things. I mean, I sent in 100 cards on that submission. Stacks of stuff that was just insane. This Derek Jeter, Skybox Preeminence. By the way, that's a beautiful card. But this would be a 10 5 years ago, no doubt about it. The backs on these are all chipped up. This thing I kept perfect. It's just insanely perfect. Corners, surface is beautiful, as you can see. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. It's still a gorgeous card. But why would I sell this now? They gave it an 8. If you want to tell me this would have been a 9 for some reason, okay. but it's not an 8. But why would I sell that now? It's a beautiful card. So everything getting, just completely undergraded was a big problem. So you end up losing tons of money on your submissions instead of being able to make or break even and keep a few cards that you want, that kind of thing. And if I was a newbie, I get it. You could comment, you could say all kinds of things. I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. I understand that. But I know what I'm doing. And people like Elite Co 3 knows more what he's doing than anybody that's ever submitted grades ever. And especially in the era of cards that I like in the 90s, early 2000s, all that kind of stuff, 80s. He has submitted more cards in single submissions than I've submitted in my life. He knows how crazy it has gotten. The grading is way off. Then there's the minimum size crap. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is a chromium card, the exact same size as the other cards I was sending in. Perfect card. I kept it perfect. Not some super valuable card. Wouldn't send this off today, but it's a really cool card of one of my favorite guys, Cal Ripken. That one they gave minimum size. This one, full card, beautiful card. Kept it perfect. All that should be chipped up if you saw one normally. This thing is perfect. I kept it perfect straight out of the pack. Black borders, everything's perfect. Nothing's been trimmed. You can put this right on top of another card. It's the same size. This one here, I almost couldn't believe it when I pulled this out of the package. Beautiful card of Griffey, 2000 Tech. This is a plastic card. This card is freaking made out of plastic. Nobody is trimming this card. This card is perfect. This card is a 10. And they give it minimum size. Here's another one from the same submission. Beautiful Technicians Griffey. Wonderful card. PSA 9, okay? You want to say it's not a 10, you want to say it's 9, that's fine. But same exact packs. If you put this up in front of it in real life, I know it might not show up here, it's either the same size or 132nd bigger than the other card. It is definitely not smaller in any way. And this isn't something sent 10 years different where this was the same submission. They send one back with a minimum size, like it didn't meet the minimum size requirement. This one gets the 9. And like I said, I know what I'm doing. These are 9s. These could be 10s. Super, super frustrating. That is the exact same size as any of the other cards. And if anything, it is, maybe a skosh bigger, but pretty much it's just the same size. So you got cards getting undergraded all over the place. I just got stacks of 7s and 8s, some 5s and 6s even in that submission. And you look them over to the visible human eye, there's nothing wrong with them. High-powered magnification is maybe a useful tool, but if there's something that you can't even see on a card, that's not the original intent of grading. It's how nice does the card look when humans are looking at it. I've said it before, but bald eagles aren't looking at these cards and they're not collecting them. We don't care what they can see. We're humans, we're the ones collecting the cards. That should be all that matters. So undergrading, minimum size stuff that makes no sense, even when it's the exact same size as the other cards. I don't understand it. And maybe it's, a good thought practice to, send these off to SGC or do something, as a crossover to prove my point. But I don't really want to give any of these grading companies my money right now. And to be honest, as soon as I heard the news that collectors bought SGC, it ruined it for me. I thought they were the little guy coming up, challenging the beast and going to, rise all tides. But that didn't happen. They got swallowed up. Money spoke, and he sold out. So now they're all under the same umbrella. And now I can't trust any of them. The trust is gone. I've seen too many problems. I've seen too many things to turn me off of submitting grading. And it's sad because I enjoyed it. Now I know there's a lot of people that don't understand the grading and the enjoyment that can come out of it. But I did. It was a fun part of my hobby. Now let's get to the cards that they damaged. Now, once again, this all happened in 1 or 2 submissions. I'm not showing you everything from all over the place. I don't have the copy of the one that I sent. I sold it because I was so upset as soon as it came back. But it was that card. It was the Fusion. This is somebody else's on eBay if you want to go grab it. No. But this is the 99 Skybox Fusion with the perforated holes. And what happened on this one is I sent in a perfect one. I mean, it was perfect. A 10 in this card would have been very valuable for me to be able to sell and make money on, to pay for the stuff I needed. It was very important to me. A 9 would have still been valuable. I would have been able to make some money on it, which I needed to try to pay for the cards I wanted to keep. What they did is up here at the top of mine, there was a huge pinch mark. Right here was completely bent. You could see where they grabbed it out of my semi-rigid and they pinched the card right here in the middle. You could see where their thumb was, and it completely bent it, and they sent it back as an 8. I don't have any evidence of that because I sold it. I didn't think I would ever make this video. I didn't want to have to make this video. I just want things to be positive, but PSA and these companies are hurting the hobby right now. So I have to make the video. But they bent that card, pinching it out. Now I know there are sleeves that now have big, long, like, tails on the top where they pull them out where they don't even have to reach in there because no one trusts them to do anything anymore. So they're trying to make it to where they even handle them less. Now the sleeves that I use have clipped corners. These are wonderful sleeves, but the sleeves I use have clipped corners. So when you slip the card into the sleeve, you cannot nick the corner on these bottom corners as you put them in. So it eliminates all of that. But if they're just going to grab it like a gorilla out of the middle and rip it out and damage your card, there's nothing you can do about that. And they'll just put it in the holder as an 8 and send it back to you. That's just not right. It's just not right. The next one, 82 tops. Now, some of these early 80s back cards, even up to the middle, like 86 tops. I mean, if you get a 10 on somebody, even some commons, but definitely like a Nolan Ryan or something, you're going to have a valuable card. So I went through my 82 top set. I found the most perfect card. I just figured I'd do an experiment. Let's just send a perfect 10 in. And I sent this card in. It was perfectly centered on the back, perfect everything, perfectly centered on the front, perfect corners, perfect surface. It was the best card in the whole set. Had 2 Hall of Famers. So I'm like, I'm going to send this, get the 10, sell the 10, get another common one of these raw, throw it back in my set. So I pulled this out of my set. I went through every single card just to try to find the perfect one. This was a perfect card, perfect 10. Well, they damaged it. So this is not just a little nick from a sleeve or something like that. They clearly dropped this thing on the corner. I mean, this corner is bent over. If you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. The corner is completely dinged now. This card was dropped. It was dropped right on the corner. If you think I submitted something like that, you are wrong. This isn't just a little damage. The corner is smashed. But instead of saying, hey, sorry, Mr. Richards, we damaged your card. Let me try to compensate you or something like that. No. They just put this horribly damaged card that was a perfect 10 before and had some value. They threw it in an 8 holder and sent it back to me without saying anything. That's when I lost complete trust. So they're pinching cards, they're damaging them, they're dropping them. It's just not good. It's not good for the hobby or what is going on. And I know Mangini and a lot of these friends of mine are ranting about this stuff for a reason. But I'm telling you, this is personal experience. I'm not speaking for anybody else. There's just been too many negative experiences with this stuff. The next thing is the Silver Star holograms from 1991. They are impossible. And I bought tons of them trying to find nice ones to get a Mint 9 copy. Here's my Ryan. Really impossible to get edges that look like that and perfect fronts like that. I wanted to score the 9 on the Ryan and the Ripken, my two guys. Score the 9 on the Ryan, no problem. Get the email. Of course, I'm impatient. I check it out. I got the 9. Yes. Get the email, check it out. I got the 9 on the Ripken. Yes. They didn't damage this one. They didn't undergrade it. They didn't do anything wrong. That is wonderful. So I'm like, okay, impossible to get 9s on these. You could send in 100 of them and not get a 9. But then I realized something. So they say they don't use any heat or anything when they're putting these cases together. They say they're sonically sealed. Well, I don't know what kind of sonically stuff they're doing, but look at that. There is a film that is on the face of these holograms. And normally you can't even tell it's there. But whatever they did to sonically seal this edge here, completely melted this whole side. So you got cards that they're pinching like that one over there. You got cards that are dropping like this here. Then you got cards that are perfect when they put it in their holder. They give it the 9. It was a 9. It was a perfect Mint card. And then they damage it while they're holding it. Look at that. It's just got a horribly melted film all over that side. So what am I supposed to do with this? I don't want to sell it, tell someone it's a PSA 9 and it's valuable when it's not. I don't want to I can't enjoy looking at it, pull it out, look at these two and just remember, oh yeah, that's what PSA did to my card. Even after it was a perfect 9, they got it as a perfect 9 into the holder and then look at what they did to it. It's just insane. It's not good. So we got these fake minimum size requirement things because they don't want any risk, but they couldn't have been trimmed. You can tell the edges aren't trimmed. One of them's a plastic card. It's exact same size as everything else. Couldn't possibly be trimmed. And then they drop stuff, pinch stuff, taking it out of your holder. And then they damage cards that are already perfect that they're trying to seal inside their holder. It's just insane. I used to have so much fun with this stuff. Now I know, my buddy John Mangini, love the guy, he's a super guy. I know he doesn't understand the grading thing, and I am now more in his camp. But a long time ago, it was $6 to grade something. It was fun. Like I do runs like this. 91 Stadium Club, one of my favorite sets. I do runs of 10s. Look at it, Bo Jackson, Sosa, Ripken. I have a huge stack of these. Bagwell rookie. Frank Thomas, one of the best photos ever put on a card. Griffey. Nolan Tux. I mean, I have all these in 10s. It was fun. I have several sets that I've put together. I used to submit all the time. I made a PSA 10 set of $84. It was the greatest modern day set. I won the award from PSA. I know what I'm talking about. So I have a bunch of sets that I have all the stars and fun guys that I love in 10s. Insert sets, subsets. There are certain ones I've picked out that I just really enjoy, that I started getting runs of 9s or runs of 10s in, that now I just can't do. It has taken a piece of my hobby fun away. For damage reasons, for they don't know how to grade anymore reasons, to minimum size reasons. And yes, I could, as a thought experiment, just send these to SGC and spend more money. But why? I mean, to prove it to you guys, that'd be fine. But once SGC got swallowed up by the giant and they're under the same umbrella now, why would I do that? I want to have fun with the hobby. But I'm telling you, even though some people don't understand it, this was fun. Getting runs of 9s and 10s of cards you love in a certain set or whatever it is, certain player, whatever, however you want to do it out there. I don't care how people collect. I just want them to have fun. But grading is taking a lot of people's fun away, and it's losing people a lot of money. It's not fair, and you don't get compensated properly. There's just no way. Like that Ripken, I cannot replace that. If this was a common 90 Donruss and it didn't get a 10 or whatever, they replace it, whatever they do, okay, you get another one. But this here, getting that in a 9 is virtually impossible. And I finally got my 2 guys in a 9. And I was so happy when I got that email. Pull it out, and I see all the horrible damage. This card here, send in a 10, get back an 8 with a dropped card. It's not right. So, you know, this kind of stuff that I've enjoyed doing for many, many years, now I'm doing stuff like this. Beautiful card. These are much clearer. These are better looking holders. But they don't have the value of hitting a 10. You know, no one's going to trust me that this is a 10. They have to be certified by these companies. But they're doing so much wrong. And I don't know if it's just the massive volume and they just can't keep up with it and they're just making tons of mistakes, but I don't think they make the mistakes right when they make them. I don't think you can be properly compensated for something that's almost impossible to replace. That's why I would be scared to send them anything of real value or any real one-of-one. How do people do that? How do you trust? I can't even trust the post office now because they're losing packages right and left. But add on top of that PSA doing stuff like this. You know, this is just my personal experience. There are millions of people out there that have done this kind of thing. So all I can do is speak to my experience, and it ruined me on this part of the hobby that I really did enjoy before. I'm saying I don't now, but I'm not going to lie to you and say I didn't enjoy the value and the grading for many, many years. But now it is ruined. I don't know what it'll take, what it'll have to change at these companies, especially PSA, for me to start submitting again. But when they're this expensive and they have all these problems, it ruins it for me. Life is hard enough. I don't want my hobby to be hard, and I don't want it to be negative. I just want to have fun, and this kind of stuff takes the fun out of this part of the hobby. Now, nothing will ever ruin my love for the hobby. Nothing will ever take my joy of the hobby. But if any particular part of it starts to be negative, I will just cut it off. Then I'll move on to the stuff that makes me happy. And my friends and my buddies in the hobby make me happy. And the way I collect makes me happy. The cards I love make me happy. But grading no longer makes me happy. So I've virtually just cut it off for now. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what I will do in the future, but I had to share this. I want to get this kind of information out to people. I'm not just making this stuff up. This stuff really happens all the time. And this that I'm just showing you here was only in the last couple submissions I made. So anyways, appreciate all you guys. Thank you for all your subs and likes, all your comments, especially really, really good positive comments I get. I really love it. And I know this kind of thing can be controversial, but it shouldn't be. I'm just showing you what happened. I'm showing you why I've stopped submitting. And that's really it. But keep enjoying the hobby, as Shoebox Shane would always say. Just have fun. Do the things that are fun. Cut out the things that aren't fun. Just find what you like and keep doing it. But until next time, thank you guys. Appreciate you.